Welcome, everyone, to Beauty and the Surgeon podcast. I'm Amy. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, and I'm joined today, as always, by the very distinguished Dr. Jason Martin. He's a board-certified plastic and reconstructive surgeon.
Distinguished and board-certified.
Correct.
That's what I am.
Yes. Dr. Martin, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
Good. Well, we are back on the myth-busting train today.
One of my favorites.
So if you are so inclined and you would like to, if you still have questions after this or you still have myths after this episode, feel free. Leave me a voicemail. Send me a text, 303-630-9038. You can also find all of our social media handles there. And remember, with all of our myth-busting episodes, today there's 10, and they are in the description box. If you click, you can find the myth that you are interested in and skip past other myths. But I recommend you listen to all the myths.
Yeah, I mean, we're into all the myths, not just one of them.
Mm-hmm. One thing I will say, as I say at some point during all of our myth episodes, is stick to the myth, Dr. Martin.
Yeah.
In this one in particular, because you're going to want to jump all over other myths.
I can do what I want. I'm board certified. I'm distinguished.
You're distinguished.
I can jump all over the myths.
Stick to the myth.
Yeah.
Counting down this stuff.
Yes. Finally, like a normal person, I did them in the correct order. So we're starting at 10, which is good. And let's jump right in.
Okay.
So myth number 10, only birth mommies need makeovers. And this goes to the fact that, there are a lot of reasons why people might seek out a combination of surgeries. Now, granted, technically a mommy makeover is done on a mommy, but a lot of people, dads, moms of other types, would like makeovers or other types of combination surgeries. So don't think that this term mommy makeover means that if you haven't been a birth mommy, that you can't still get a tummy tuck and a breast aug and a facelift and all these other things combined.
Right. Technically, you're a mom, but it may not be a birth mom.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. But so would the person by definition have to be a mom of some sort? Mom to a dog, mom to adopt a child?
I think there should be, if we start naming every time we did a combination surgery, this is a fill in the blank surgery.
So I think what you're really exposing here is it's a really stupid name.
You were the one who started saying that.
This is such a dumb name for a surgery. Basically, mommy makeovers are a combination of surgeries we do. We have a whole episode on that. You can listen to it. So, and
you happen to be a mom.
Right. There is no litmus. If you're not a mom, I can still do a tummy tuck and breast lift and augmentation on you.
Or if you're a dad.
That's true.
We can still do flank lipo and a neck lift.
And a tummy tuck.
And a tummy tuck.
And all the stuff.
Yes.
So it's like a catchment term. It's obviously a marketing term. It goes to the lowest common denominator. It's derivative. It's everything about plastic surgery that I hate. And so I think the term is just really not useful. With that said, that's what's in our lexicon. That's what we talk about as a culture, mommy makeovers, and that's, I guess, the name stuck.
It did. And it's not just one surgery. So we break that down a lot in our episode about mommy makeover. It's not like there's one specific mommy makeover surgery. Technically, it's just surgeries that we're doing on a mom.
So if you could, in 30 seconds, list all the procedures in quote unquote mommy makeovers.
It could literally be anything we do.
Exactly.
There you go. I don't have to list it because literally anything. Yeah. You could have a tummy tuck and an otoplasty. But it's here we go. This is a good spot to put an Austin Powers meme in here.
Yeah.
Flapjack and a something.
Yeah.
Cigar and a pancake. Bong and a blintz.
Yeah.
Otoplasty and a tummy tuck. Neck lift and a breast aug.
Yeah.
All mommy makeovers.
So primarily, mommy makeovers treat the areas that change with pregnancy, which would be your torso, your abdomen, and your breast. But literally, we throw everything into those kind of surgeries. People that do mommy makeovers usually are past pregnancy age, or
done having children.
Or done having children. That's probably a better way to say it. Because every time you see, on the daily news, there's some Russian woman having a kid at 56, and you wonder what's going on. Is the person really 56? But maybe that can occur.
Most women don't lie about their age in reverse.
Okay. So, but we'll do standard kind of quote unquote mommy makeover stuff, but there's almost more than half of our cases we're doing other things too that technically are probably more age related or just, related to their anatomy. So.
Right. And that's where you go back to the point that you made, mommy makeover is kind of a stupid term. Let's bust this myth.
Busted.
All right. Number 9.
Oh, sorry. Having a mommy makeover means you've given up or just haven't worked hard enough. Basically, having a mommy makeover means that you've failed. Is that what we're trying to say?
That's the myth, yeah.
Okay.
That you have not worked hard enough.
Yeah.
And that you are just giving up and having surgery or taking the easy way out. And we say this in a lot of our episodes about specifically things on the torso, like the tummy tuck, I think is the one that gets people like, if I just worked harder, if I just did more herbal wraps, if I just did a longer juice cleanse, I wouldn't need this tummy tuck.
Right. And then you go to the gym and you meet with the trainer, who tend to be nice people. I'm not criticizing them, but they'll tell you, or the Pilates teacher, they'll tell you your rectus diastasis, splitting the muscle. All you got to do is a bunch of sit-ups and your muscle's going to magically move back to the midline, and it won't. And by the way, when you stretch out your skin enough, there's elasticity there, but it only can go so far. And it won't come back to its normal state, no matter what you do. And then you could go even and not do surgeries. You could do skin tightening techniques, Morpheus. You could do body tight like we do in our office and all these things, and it's still not going to work. So at some point, you have to admit that there's a problem there that's not going to be solved by exercise, nutrition, or less invasive procedures. There's only one definitive surgery, which is tummy tuck, or one definitive surgery, which is breast lift.
Facelift.
Facelift. And that's a hard thing to come to terms with, because it doesn't fit the narrative that's on the internet in America that, if you just try hard enough, you can solve this problem. Well, it's not the case. Once your skin is blown out, once your muscles are stretched, once you have stretch marks, once your breasts are deflated, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And I personally, Amy, I don't want to speak for her, but I know she feels the same way. It's just like discouraging where these women come in and they're just like, I feel like I'm failing. I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing. I feel like I've given up. I haven't done enough. And I was like, well, this is insanity. I don't know.
They'll say, do I just need to work harder?
Work harder. Yeah.
I'm
okay.
Like, yeah, that's the solution.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's going to make your loose
with your
go
4
away.
kids, no time to work out. Yeah, exactly. No. It's not going to happen. So sorry, I had to drink my tea there.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that this is a total myth, and it actually, we all of us women, Amy, need to bond together and fight back against this myth and this narrative.
Because this myth is what?
It's busted.
It's busted. All right. Number 8, a mommy makeover is only a tummy tuck and breast augmentation. I think we busted that already.
Yeah.
Yeah, not true. It can be anything. And there are women who have multiple children. My favorite is a woman who had 10 children. 10 children that she gave birth to.
She lived in a shoe, actually.
Yeah. She had needed a tummy tuck, but she actually had the most perfect breasts. It was amazing. She breastfed 10 babies, didn't even need a lift. It was shocking. And she had fair skin. Like, she was as fair skinned as I am. And like, I started taking her pictures and being like, how is this possible? This woman had 10 children. I mean, even if she hadn't breastfed them, just the hormonal changes of having like the laxity of your ligaments that many times and the strain on your breasts. I'm like, how is this even possible? Like, it does happen. There are outliers. And there are also women who never need a tummy tuck, who have no stretch marks after having multiple children. Shocking. Those are the ones who maybe just need a mastopexy aug.
Right.
Like, a mommy makeover is literally just surgery on a woman who's given birth at some level, right? Yeah. Or on anyone. But it's not like there's one surgery and be like, you can't walk into a doctor's office and be like, I need a mommy makeover, and it's exactly the same thing for every woman, because it isn't.
Yeah, it's not that Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all, right? So
one mommy makeover to rule them all.
But I do think that if you are someone, so if you're watching this and you're a mom, and or you do you relate to being a mom or whatever, however you want to put the words. But if you're a mom and you have changes related to age and pregnancy, there's answers. There's answers across the board. And a good example of that is the arms, actually. Mm-hmm. Post-pregnancy, arms can be a real problem for women. They have this expansion and contraction, especially if you've had multiple pregnancies. You gain weight. Some people gain a lot of weight with pregnancy. Some people
just fluid retention in the arms can be pretty significant.
And so you'll see this laxity of the arms, sometimes hormonally driven fat in the arms, lax skin with fat. And, a common thing we'll see with quote unquote mommy makeovers is body tight of the arms, or even in some cases a brachioplasty, which we have a great episode on that, which he's going to show you right here. And so I think that if you're thinking about a mommy makeover, I think it's the better way to think about it is like, you know what? I'm at this point in my life. I've been, I've had this amazing blessing of having children, et cetera, et cetera. Now I want to take care of the issues that I perceive and go on to the next stage of my life and be the best version of myself. I think that's a better way to put it. And so that can involve a lot of things. Not just tummy tucks and breasts.
Not just a breast tuck and a tummy tuck.
You can go ahead and do it.
No, this is your thing.
Busted.
All right. Number 7 goes to you.
I should wait until my kids kid or kids are in college before considering surgery, which is very funny because my daughter is about to go to college.
And we have a lot of women who come in their late 40s, early 50s who are like, oh, I can finally do this surgery that I've wanted for the last 18 years because my child is going to college.
Yeah. I mean, I get that mindset being a parent, but like at the same time, it just seems so outlandish, right? Like if you need a mommy makeover, get it earlier rather than later. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Ooh, if you guys hear that,
that is crazy.
Apparently there is some big thunder.
We just had a huge thundering, or it's World War III. Someone's very angry about our mommy makeover take.
Welcome to summer in Colorado. The storms are violent. So yeah, if you hear, grumbling, it is when the building shakes, that's actual thunder. So I agree with you, Dr. Martin, that it's so those years pass quickly.
Yeah.
Right. It's shocking how fast
we talked about it with
go.
My kids.
Yes, it is shocking.
It was only yesterday when
Jake was learning to walk.
Yeah, or my daughter was sick and we brought her in the office and made like
a little cave under your desk.
A cave under the desk with a bunch of blankets.
I was actually telling Catherine about that just this week. And I mean, she was in preschool. She wasn't even in kindergarten. She couldn't have been more than 3.
Yeah.
And now she is literally graduating from high school.
So I have a funny daughter story. She wants baby pictures. And I told her, I said, we have pictures of you as babies, but they're in photo albums and we're renovating our house. We're in a rental. And so it's all, stored away.
Actual photos, printed
Yeah.
photos.
And she goes, what do you mean? It's not on your phone? I go, excuse me. iPhones weren't out when you were born, right?
Barely, but yeah.
No, they weren't.
Not quite.
Yeah. So sorry. Like that wasn't a thing back then,
Only by a couple of years though. She just barely missed it.
You missed it. I was like,
she missed it by 2 years.
Your brother, tons of pictures on her phone. But you, and it was like blowing her mind. That what is the sorcery you're talking about where you didn't have pictures on phones?
Right. Yeah. No, that was not a thing.
Yeah, that was great. And you remember you used to have those disposable cameras. You would take it over to Walgreens. They would print it out.
You had no idea what you were going to get back.
No, you never
They were
know.
all of a thumb.
No.
Or of a pocket. They all were out of focus. So yeah, there is actually the temptation. You think like, oh, I just need to wait till my kids are through this stage or that phase or whatever. I think the only time we really do recommend that somebody wait to have surgery is if their children are still extremely young and they don't have a lot of help, because you will, with almost all of these surgeries, have restrictions on lifting. Even things like lifting a child in and out of a car seat is something you might not be able to do for 4 to 6 weeks without help. So in those circumstances, yes, like if someone's child is close to being like, let's say 2, and they at that point can maybe help a lot more, like with them even getting dressed and getting in and out of their own car seat, in and out of their own bed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Those are big things. But man, once your kids are past that point, like have surgery as soon as I always tell people, as soon as you've decided to have surgery, have it.
Right.
Like, don't put some weird arbitrary date. Like I'll do it on such and such date. Like, nah, do it now. Get it behind you.
Yeah, because that arbitrary date is being placed upon you. It's not most likely not from you yourself. It's just your feeling about what you're supposed to do, your responsibility. Young kids where you have to hold them all the time, that can be kind of hard after a mommy makeover. But even in that case, you can have friends and family come over. They can place the child on your lap or in your arms. You don't have to lift them up off the ground. It kind of works that way. There's always workarounds. But yeah, I think it's definitely better for them to be probably over, a certain age.
Yeah, like over 2.
A little bit
Especially
more manageable.
if you don't have a lot of help. Yeah. Don't wait till your kids go to college.
Yeah.
Do your surgery now.
Yeah. I think we need to change the narrative on like timing. Like if you want a facelift, get the facelift.
It right now.
We are busting it. Okay. I'm going to challenge Nils. Busted.
All right. Number 6. Ooh, here we go. We'll keep talking about those little children you love so much.
Yeah.
My children will judge me for having surgery.
This is kind of like really enjoying this myth busting. It's very emo, it's like it's all the emotional parts of it, right? Which is part and parcel with being a mom, probably a little bit.
Well, it's just being a person. I mean, this is like, the funny thing about this is, this could also be called AKA, what do I tell my children? Ironically enough, you know how many times we have women who are in their 40s and 50s who don't want to tell their moms that they're having surgery? What can I tell? What should I tell my mom, my judgy mom? I don't want my mom to know how to facelift because she would judge me. So we all judge ourselves far harsher than anyone around us. And that's why I tell people, what you tell your children about your recovery from surgery depends on their age and depends on what you want to tell them. We say this with all of our surgeries, like, oh, everyone will know. Like, no one will know unless you tell them, or they, are in an intimate position where they would see the effects of your surgery. But especially with kids, I think people think their kids are going to know that they had plastic surgery. All you have to say is mommy is sick.
Right. And if you're,
story.
I think where this becomes very evident and maybe difficult for some people is for a mom and a daughter who's teenage years and who's going through that development, very aware of their body, maybe insecure and stuff like that. And Amy and I are very sensitive to that. At the same time, that's giving a lot of credence that your child, son or daughter,
controlling your life,
is really that interested in what you're doing. So there's definitely ways to handle this. I do think you have to be sensitive, especially being a parent and having kids who've had struggles. I get that. I understand. But at the same time, you have your life. You're on this path. I mean, that is important too. How do you balance that out? And judgment from a child of you trying to better yourself in whatever way you can, of trying to pick a path that is more body positive, that checks that box, empowers yourself. I think that would be interesting. I think it's all about the description and the discussion and the openness or lack thereof that you may have with a child.
Yeah.
But we don't have that discussion with our patients because really it's none of our business. We do tell them, if you feel like this is good for you now, do it and find a way to communicate that with your family in a way that's positive and constructive.
And don't overthink it, especially based on the child and based on the age. It's the same thing with people who don't want to tell their parents they're having surgery. I mean, not overthinking it and being really clear on your reasons, but also not feeling like you have to justify your reasons to anyone, including your own children. Like I always say, like, babies should come with a tummy tuck. Like they did this to you. But I understand why people. It's
like a guest pass when you buy the ski pass every year.
Yep. Yeah. Like here's,
you get a tummy tuck pass.
Tummy tuck.
Yeah. Here's your tummy tuck.
Because it is, it's tough. I mean, you should get to have the body you want back. And
right.
That's just the way.
That's a little bit of the thing that I get frustrated about with the children thing. As a parent, I totally understand about perception, but also the child is not dealing with the fact that you have split muscles, extra skin, and stretch marks that were never going away. Yeah. And your husband doesn't have to, or significant other doesn't have to deal with that. You're the only one. Yeah. And you don't have to sit there and deal with that in silence by yourself and just suck it up.
Right. Or just take care of it and don't tell anyone. Yeah. Like tell the people you want to tell.
Send the kids to grandma's for a week.
Or yeah. All right.
Summer camp.
Bust this myth, Dr. Martin.
Busted.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the rest of our myths.
Yep. More myths.
We're back. And again, just a reminder that you might hear some thunder.
Yeah.
Hear the thunder, lightning and the thunder.
It'd be cool if we were like in a glass cube outside that we'd be doing this and you would see all the rain and thunderstorms going on. I love thunderstorms.
Yeah, I don't mind thunderstorms. Nils and I were chatting before we started recording that there has been an awful lot of inclement weather in Colorado in the last few weeks, and it's not my jam. I need the sun. Yeah, it's not my thing so much. So, all right.
I got to tell you this. My granddad used to sit on the porch and smoke cigarettes and watch the storms coming in.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. And and we never wanted the smoking cigarettes on the porch part.
At least he was doing it on the porch.
Yeah, and then the best part was it didn't matter what time it was. If it was 2 a.m. and he knew a storm was coming in, he'd wake up and go watch it come in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. It's granddad goals right there.
Yeah, I know.
Did he have a rocking chair?
He had it all. Yeah.
He had it all. Was he whittling?
No, he loved weather. Like he would always talk about weather.
Weather is pretty amazing, especially the big storms. All right, let's jump back in. Number 5, Dr. Barton, goes to you.
My spouse will judge me for having surgery. This is a very emo episode.
But these are the things, right? These are the stories we tell ourselves. These are the myths. I mean, there are absolutely situations where we have unsupportive spouses, male and female.
Which, by the way, is not my love language.
No.
It incenses me. We don't get involved in people's lives. We're non-judgmental. That's the best part about medicine, is you don't have to judge people, right? We're here to do a service, Hippocratic oath, first do no harm. It makes it easy. You can help people and not have to judge them, right? What other parts of your life can you have that? It's pure.
Well, you should be able to have that in all parts of your life.
It doesn't happen that way. So with that said,
don't judge Nils.
You judge me.
I do not. No,
we don't judge Nils. Nils is perfect Viking man. But the reality of it is, Amy and I are humans too, right? I love my wife. I'm supportive of her, and it's hard for me to see that, and it's hard for me not to insert myself. So, if the idea of what we do with cosmetic surgery, if you think about it as baseline, is we try to help people improve. It doesn't, if we've proven whatever episode that was, it doesn't make you happier. Okay.
In some cases it does, but you have to already be a happy person.
Yeah. It's not going to make you happy. It's not going to make your life better. It's not going to make your relationships, quote unquote, better. But we, in a small way, we help you improve. And that's empowering. That is, it can fill you with positive energy. It can push you forward. It can have a butterfly effect on your life. And Amy and I love that. We love the fact that patients come in invigorated, feeling motivated for the future, loving their new transformation and stuff like that. And that's the purity of what we do. I want my patients' family members to feel that way too, right? I want everyone to celebrate in this. And it's hard when you realize that sometimes people aren't supportive. And why are they not supportive? I'm not a psychiatrist, but I can only imagine there's a lot of reasons that are probably pretty negative, right? And so I think for our standpoint, in almost all cases, when you're doing these mommy makeovers and stuff like that, or any kind of makeover, the family members tend to be pretty supportive because they know that their loved one is trying to improve themselves, right?
Well, and that's a conversation that these people have had. And that is the one thing I'll say to anyone who expresses concern about their spouse having concerns about their surgery. I'll say to them, bring them with you to your pre-op appointment.
Right.
Like, let them meet us, let them ask their questions, because a lot of the times, for just humans in general, we have these judgy or negative feelings out of fear.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Most of the cases where the husband or the significant other is concerned or has concerns, it's usually related to safety. And I totally understand that.
Or that you're going to make them look a way that they
or
don't
make them look weird.
Naturally look.
Right.
Or you're going to give them like 800cc implants on a 100-pound person. Like,
right.
They are worried that the person they love is going to disappear because of surgery.
Right. And then if they disappear, what does that mean about their relationship?
Yep.
Et cetera,
it's all
et cetera.
fear.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fear related. Yeah.
Yep.
And I do think that the way you counteract that is getting your loved one involved.
It's communication.
Yeah. Communicating with them and saying it outright. Like, I don't like my breasts. I don't like my belly. I don't like the way this hangs over. It doesn't feel feminine. I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way I look in clothing and stuff like that, being very specific. And then bringing them in and then having them talk with your surgeon and talk about the risks and benefits and talk about the surgical plan and what the expectations are, the aesthetic vision of your surgery.
See, and I would actually not double down on the negative in that situation. I would say to that person, my supportive spouse, I found a great solution to my excess skin.
Well, that's because you're better at communicating.
But just not doubling down on the negative. I mean, because this is when you're already dealing with somebody who is feeling negative, like, don't double down on the negative, like, focus on the positive. Like, I found a great surgeon who I trust, who has great results, who I can't wait for you to meet, who's going to help me fix this problem I'm having with my diastasis. Yeah. There's a way to change the narrative. And I think changing that narrative is really kind of going to the opposite, go to your positive, go to your happy place. Because when we see these non-supportive spouses, and I will say this, I find there to be a lot more judgy is maybe not the right word, but seemingly unsupportive wives. And a lot of times, I mean, you just wonder, like, man, what's going on in that person's head? Like, what about them is not letting them see the positive side of this? So trying to see the positive side of the benefits of your surgery, not like the way it's fixing something you hate so much, but like just making it better.
Yeah.
Like, go on that route.
Yeah. And I think that goes to kind of the baseline issue is all of us need to give ourselves a little bit of a break. Mm-hmm. I think all of us are super critical on ourselves. Social media makes it worse. There's so much stress in the world, so much stress on couples, raising kids, just relationships in general, financial stress, everything else that goes along with that. I think you're absolutely right. And it tends to go to a negative narrative. Mm-hmm. I know I've done that before, right? Stressful life, things, I'm focusing on the negative and the stressful. Mm-hmm. But how many times in your life can you have a transformation, go from one place to another?
Well, you get to go back. I mean, that's with Mommy Makeovers. I mean, technically, you're getting to go back.
Well, back, whatever.
Yes.
And just like, how many times in your life do you have that element? Can you do that? And it's not often.
Not often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we're talking about cosmetic surgery. I'm not trying to imply that that's this grandiose event. But there is a specialness to it that you can truly change something that really bothers you. Yeah. And that is empowering. At its baseline, it's empowering.
Yeah.
How many times am I going to say empowering in
Lots.
this episode?
Can you say busted one more time?
Busted.
Busted. Your spouse, if they're judging you, Yeah, there's ways around that, but yeah, I hope that's not the case.
You may have to get rid of them.
Yeah. Myth number 4.
Did I say that, Amy?
Right? I mean, we've definitely seen that. Yeah.
No, I'm not get rid of them.
No.
Not get rid of them.
Yeah,
I don't mean get rid of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness in Colorado with spouses, so let's not get rid of them that way. But
I don't want them to disappear.
No.
And swim with the fishes.
Yeah, no. So myth number 4, having a mommy makeover means I will never need to have surgery again. This is with any surgery.
I don't want to debunk this myth, because this is will get more people to come in and do mommy makeovers, make us even more successful, Amy. Yeah. All you need is one surgery and then it's all done.
Well, here we go back to one surgery to rule them all.
Yeah.
As with everything in life, we continue to age. Now, there are definitely surgeries, and we talk about these specifically in our specifics about surgery episodes, like tummy tuck. If you maintain your weight throughout the rest of your life, you will probably never need another tummy tuck.
Right.
Otoplasty. Probably never need another otoplasty.
Ear tuck, yeah.
Yeah. Even an upper lid eyelid surgery, and in some cases, if you time it just right, you might only need one. However, having your mommy makeover when you're in your mid-30s doesn't mean you will not need a facelift when you're 45.
Yeah.
Or need your breast implants exchanged 10 years later. Like, the clock starts when you have surgery a lot of times, especially surgery on your breast, especially surgery with breast implants, which is often the case with a mommy makeover. So if you're considering that, make sure you do watch our episode specifically about breast augmentation, or even about, if you're thinking about having liposuction. Like, there are some things that might need touching up as you age, but I will tell you all this. Those things would need it anyway in that amount of time. It's like women who get implants, like, oh, I'm going to need a lift. And, like, yeah. And you would need a lift anyway in 10 years.
Right.
It's like just doing breast implants now doesn't mean you wouldn't still need a lift in 10 years.
Yeah. We've done
you need it either way.
We've done secondary breast reductions, secondary breast lifts, implant exchange, change the implant from above the muscle to below the muscle.
Yeah.
I mean,
a little more lipo. Yes.
Yeah. Even we've done secondary tummy tucks.
Yeah.
Like tummy tucks, the people have had tummy tucks before, they just have more lax skin. They come back in for more tummy tuck.
Yep. Or they, do end up having another baby.
Yeah, they had another baby, they gained weight and then lost weight again. I mean, yeah, so I wish that we had a crystal ball with life. It would have made my life a lot easier.
Actually,
but
it would be bad for business. So,
or good.
Needing only one surgery ever? No, we like patients who keep.
No, crystal ball, like you knew what the future held.
That way.
So at the very least, you would have a more informed understanding. Okay, I probably
how
will.
How your aging will be.
Yeah, I probably will need a facelift at 52 and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that mommy makeovers are it's one of the most amazing transformative surgeries we do, but they're really for specific areas and also for specific times. So every now and then we'll do a quote unquote mommy makeover for someone in their 60s or 70s. That's unusual. So it's most likely in the 30s and 40s that the people do this.
Yeah, it's anywhere from like mid 30s to mid 50s is probably the most common. Those are the people who jump on it fast. They're like, no, I'm not having any more kids ever. I'm 35 or I'm 55. My kids just finally left for college.
You'll get paid. Like I saw a patient today who's doing body work, but she's in the age that she needs a facelift. And I had that conversation with her. I said, actually, you probably could get more out of the facelift. And she goes, I know that, but I just want to do this body work. So most people in their late 50s and 60s will choose choose the more facial stuff because it's more bang for their buck.
Yeah, it's more what people are seeing.
Right, because when you're 30, your
demographic.
face already still looks pretty darn good.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. No, I mean you might not need a repeat of the same surgeries, but in a lot of cases, specifically with breast surgery, you absolutely will need more surgery in your lifetime. And honestly, I mean that's kind of a good thing, right? Like because that means that there's always improvements to be made.
Yeah.
Keep it looking good.
Just have a good relationship with someone like me. Just keep me on the speed dial.
Exactly. Yes. You got longevity there.
Busted.
All right. Number 3 goes to you.
A mommy makeover is very risky or dangerous. That seems very alarming.
Yeah, but a lot of people think this, like it's long surgery. Like, oh my gosh, it's too dangerous. It's too risky for me to do this, to leave my children, to leave my spouse. That's the narrative we tell ourselves, that this is such a scary surgery. That's why we should wait till our kids are, through grad school at this point now. And maybe even once they have their doctorate. Because if the surgery
happened to end your life, that they would feel better. I mean, I guess they're grown up. But yeah, these, if you go to a reputable, what's the word I'm looking for, Amy?
Board certified
plastic surgeon.
Yes.
Maybe distinguished like me, as Amy referred to me at the beginning of this episode. But if you go to a board certified plastic surgeon that, specializes in mommy makeovers, and a lot of them do, they're, reputable, you can feel very confident that a serious risk of injury or to your life is rare. Clearly, if you're talking about elective surgeries, if these were risky surgeries, then they wouldn't be acceptable. I mean, doctors are regulated, and we have certifications, we have state certifications, we have board certifications, and our board is there to give us an algorithm to practice safely and to not harm patients. That's first and foremost. So if Mommy Makeover was such a concerning surgery in regards to safety, like we can name surgeries that have that element. BBLs, Brazilian butt lift, is one of them. Using textured implants with breast augmentation, another concerning thing. Our board, our national society came out and gave us guidance on that and said, hey, red flag on this. You guys got to watch yourself, you surgeons. So Mommy Makeover is done correctly and for the appropriate patient, a safe surgery. Secondly, Mommy Makeovers can take a decent amount of time, can take 4, 5, 6 hours. But in the plastic surgery world, that's pretty average. If you're talking about body work. Yep. And you're not getting large doses of anesthesia. You can use lower doses of anesthesia. You, unlike orthopedic surgery, you can ambulate or walk right away. You get people mobilizing quickly. You get them moving around. They're going to be good. The risk with these kind of surgeries are the normal risk with any surgery: infection, bleeding. If it's an implant there, implant infection, implant failure, that kind of stuff. But those things are very manageable, usually as an outpatient, and are not going to be life-threatening. So.
And you have a lot of good things going for you. Mommy Makeover, like we said, is usually done in a younger demographic, meaning like under the age of 50 for the most part. Your risks are lower. You also are more mobile. You have more energy. You have more ability to recover. You probably have a better built-in support system. We do a lot of big face and neck lifts on women who live alone, or men who live alone, and have to have somebody come stay with them.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
You're at a good time in your life to recover from surgery.
Yeah, you have vibrancy. You have resiliency. You have a reserve. When you're younger, you have more of a reserve to recover from these bigger surgeries.
Yeah. So you're ultimately, any surgery is dangerous. Driving to the hospital, though, is the most dangerous part of this surgery.
Which
in most
is crazy.
Cases.
Yeah.
Yep. Your risk is higher there. Like literally just driving to the hospital, you have a higher risk of having an adverse event than actually having the surgery.
Yeah.
itself.
And it's funny because like my biggest concern for patients when I do Mommy Makeovers is the anesthesia, because that's not in my control. That's why I have the anesthesiologist I want there, and I monitor what they're giving to my patients. I ask them questions. I'm nice.
Our patients stay the night in the hospital.
Right. My patients stay a night in the hospital. I'm nice to everyone, but like I'm nice, but like definitely looking over their shoulders and seeing what's going on. But to be honest with you, if I really was logical about it, I would drive them to the hospital in an armored truck, because the drive from their house to the hospital is the most dangerous thing they do of that whole thing. If they go to a reputable surgeon and a reputable operative facility with good anesthesia, et cetera, et cetera. If you look at the numbers, look it up. We're more likely, at least with anesthesia, to have a serious problem driving than you would with just the anesthesia they give during these types of surgeries.
Yeah. So what is this myth?
It's busted.
Busted. I'm serious. I said earlier, I feel like we're on Noah's Ark. Like the rain. There was what was that movie? Yeah. The movie in the early 2000s, late 90s, I think was called The Rain, right? Like Christian Slater. Yeah. And like Morgan Freeman, right? Oh,
you had to replace all the audio in that movie because you can't record sound when it's pouring.
When it's pouring rain.
So I do the total voiceover.
All the voices, all the.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
whatever happened to Christian Slater? That guy was like pure 90s and early 2000s.
Such a heartthrob, like 80s.
Robot, which was good.
Yeah.
Gleaming the Cube. Oh my gosh, Christian Slater in the 80s. So hot, Heathers. Yep, he was evil. Yeah. So if you hear the rain, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Christian Slater, I'm sure, is fine. He's probably sitting back. Yeah. Sitting back at his house in California, just chilling out.
I'm sure he's fine. Yeah. And he managed to survive a rainstorm at one point in the 90s. So here we can survive too. All right. Number 2. There are no functional benefits to repairing my diastasis or lifting my breasts. This is the one thing. These are the stories we tell ourselves, right? Women come in like, well, since there's no functional benefit, why would I even consider doing this? Well, I disagree with this completely.
There is definitive functional benefits of putting your muscles back where they should be.
Yep.
It's not like a transformative functional benefit like you get with breast reduction, but for sure, at least anecdotally in our practice, people feel better. They have more core strength. They have less lower back pain.
Same thing with the breasts. Like pulling those breasts back up like allows posture to be improved.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can functionally exercise better when you aren't having to wear 3 bras, perhaps.
Right. That's
because
just, yeah. And if you're just talking about a reduction alone, breast reduction alone, it's probably one of the most functional cosmetic surgeries we do. The improvement in back pain, rashes,
Neck pain,
discomfort,
headaches.
neck pain, migraines, posture, kyphosis. The way I don't look on the YouTube channel, I have such bad posture because of surgery, that kind of hunched over appearance. These are functional improvements. I mean, these are definitive.
Same thing with the diastasis repair.
Yeah.
Like,
Tummy
there is
tucks, you don't
functional
think
benefit.
that if you have hanging over skin that gets macerated and angry, gets fungal infections, like something called a pannus, you don't think that has a functional benefit? I mean, and then functionally speaking, you don't think there's a mental functional component to this too? I mean, there's functioning of your brain and your sensorium, and you don't think that has a benefit there? That's above and beyond anything that people consider vanity or external appearances. So basically, a lot of these feelings you see and it's commonality in moms, this feeling that I'm not worth it, or I shouldn't do this, or it's, this is so overboard. Like, why would I even consider this? I have so many other things that I would do. And it's so inane because you see these people come in, really nice people, and they'll have a super expensive purse that they're carrying, which doesn't have any value at all. But that's okay because you can spend money over here, but you can't spend money on your body. And then they go to the gym, and the gym people say, you just work hard. Well, of course they're going to say that. That's their business model. They want you to keep coming back. And then you go to the diet clinic and they give you a shot, and then you go to the dermatologist and they say, well, laser will fix all your loose skin. No, it won't. Sorry, it won't. And I don't know, maybe plastic surgeons need more representation in the zeitgeist of our culture, but at some point you have to say enough's enough. I need to kind of fix this. And the reason to fix a lot of these things are the functional benefits. The same reason with the eyelids. If you have heavy eyelids and you fix those, you will have better vision, 100%. If you need a thigh lift, of course, aesthetically you look better, but that you're going to function better. You're going to walk without having rubbing of your thighs together. It's going to be easier to exercise. You're going to have a functional benefit. So,
yep, there is absolutely a functional benefit to these things, even though it might not seem like just lifting your breast could change anything. It absolutely can. Yes, do it. This myth is what?
busted.
All right, Dr. Martin, you get the number 1 myth.
Oh, good.
This is the number 1 myth of all time.
So it looks like this was a quote from something. No. None of the other.
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank. Mm-hmm. Moms in my mom group, women at yoga, my sisters, and any other woman in the history of the world, etc., have had surgery. Oh yeah, that's such a good myth.
This was my favorite, especially when we
get that all the time. Well, I'm the only one. I mean, no one else has had it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay. When we were in a small town, we knew that was a lie because we knew all the patients.
Oh, that was always my favorite. None of my friends have had anything done, and I'm like,
okay,
that's
okay.
right. Yeah, that's right. They all
Let's just go with that narrative.
Perfectly perky
We can't
breasts
talk
and
about
flat
it in HIPAA.
abdomens.
Yeah, we can never talk
magic. Yeah, magic. So yeah, I think that is the number 1 myth that women have about any surgery, but especially about Mommy Makeover. They're like, well, I should, and go back to myth number 10. I should just be able to work harder.
And every person you see on Instagram that's famous that has an amazing abdomen after pregnancy, almost always, including someone like Heidi Klum, I'm assuming she's never had surgery. I have no idea. So they've had something, right? Mm-hmm. That's not natural. You don't look like that after pregnancy. Just look to your left and right to the moms around you. They don't look like that, right? And so that's either a genetic freak of nature or most likely they've had procedural stuff done. And so comparing yourself to this really illogical and not realistic person or that you think you want to look like.
Or the story you've told yourself about that person. This isn't even real. Literally, this is you telling yourself a story about all these other women.
You're right.
It's not even real.
If we could just take the mental narrative out of our lives that we had put in our heads, we'd all be pretty good.
Well, we'd be AI. That's what we'd be.
Good.
It would take away all the parts of us that make us human.
Yeah.
Yes. I guarantee you that there are absolutely women that you know that you've seen changing in the changing room, and you think you'd know. If they'd had surgery, you'd see it somehow. There'd be a sign on them that said, I've had plastic surgery.
Right.
They have. There are other women who have had these surgeries who will continue to have these surgeries after you. Stop judging yourself.
Yeah.
Have surgery. The best surgery is the one you had 2 weeks ago because it's done. And that is true of any surgery you decide to do. Like the surgery that is the best one is the one that's over.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, this myth is totally what?
Busted.
Like 1,000,000 times over busted. Yes, they've all had surgery. And if you are over 40 and you think that every
Basically, if
famous
you think no one's had surgery, you're probably the only one that hasn't had surgery.
probably. That's probably more what it is.
If you have that thought, just realize everyone around you, it'll spook you out. Oh my God, everyone's had surgery.
Like you're the one that hasn't. Yes.
So you do not need surgery for happiness. Surgery does not transform your life. It doesn't make relationships better. It doesn't make mental illness better. It doesn't bring happiness and all this kind of stuff, but it sure checks a box, right? And if it really bothers you, and I mean, I have a special place in my heart for moms. I love my mom. Okay. It's a big sacrifice. Everything you've done, I've seen what my wife has done with our kids. You deserve it. There's nothing wrong with saying that, right? You're worth it. That's what this is about. That's what this podcast is about. This episode obviously is very emotional, which is not always my love language. I'm very scientific and I like to talk about surgery.
It's where the myths come from, though. They don't come from nowhere.
Right.
They come from that deep, dark voice in your head.
It's probably very apropos, to be honest, with everyone listening. All of us can take a page from this book, this myth-busting episode, and let go of some of this mental baggage we have and try to find pathways in our life that are engaging, that are empowering, and better. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. You're worth it.
Yeah.
So,
and you're not the only one.
And you're not the only one. Everyone, there's a lot of moms on this earth.
And a lot of them have had surgery.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. Be one of those moms. All right. So thank you everyone so much for listening. We actually had a couple of listeners who had commented on some of our other episodes, and I did tell them that this episode was coming. So I hope you listened to the end. I hope you found it helpful. If there are still myths, please leave them in the comment section below or send me a text, 303-630-9038, and we can do them in a future myth-busting episode.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we will see you here next time.
Yeah. We're done?
We're done. Okay. That's it.
We only have 10?
Cut it.
We don't have 11 or 12?
No, that's
like Spinal Tap?
That's the whole story.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.